There's been a lot of attention on Stellar Blade, basically ever since people saw the main character herself, how attractive the protagonist was supposed to be. The developers were really leaning into that. They weren't going to try to uglify them. They weren't going to try to desexualize her. They're going to do the opposite. They're going to embrace the sexuality and the attractiveness of the main character and use that as a marketing tool. It worked incredibly well. People were talking about Stellar Blade, talking about not just the gameplay itself, but also the way that they're going about this, that they're really pushing back and rejecting any Western media criticisms that, well, you have to be representative of everyone. You can't, push away fat people. You need to make them feel like they should play our games too. They weren't buying it. And as a result, a lot of people in the media have been furious about Stellar Blade. You've seen hit pieces going off all the time, Stellar Blade and the male gaze. But the reason this is so interesting is because of how critical they've been about Stellar Blade. Almost seems like it's because the fans and the gamers are excited about it. For some reason, they praise sexuality all the time in games when it fits their agenda. That's what we've seen with a lot of these games journalists, including somebody like, Alyssa Mercante, who has been at the forefront when it comes to Kotaku, when it comes to woke games journalists, and when it comes specifically to this DEI backlash we've seen over the last few months. After these articles today, the discourse surrounding Stellar Blade is going to be really funny if Kotaku takes a stance to oppose its sexiness. I'm praying we get a male gaze article from them. And this is specifically talking about Hades 2. Hades 2 is the kind of hot we need right now by Alyssa Mercante. They're also praising how sexy the Fallout TV series. But the reason this is so interesting is because someone like Alyssa Mercante specifically got caught up in the backlash, and she was one of the people that was upset at how sexualized the character in Stellar Blade is. Yet, here we have her, mommy, sorry, her talking about Hades, her talking about the game, and why she's so fucking excited for it. Yet, this is what she said about people who are excited about Stellar Blade. They want their women to be virtually silent, overly sexualized dolls in video games so they can jerk off without having to wash their ass, clip their nails, or even show a single attractive quality. Man, it's weird. You're really excited about sexuality in this game. In Hades, I wonder why. Senior editor being Kotaku. Hades 2 versus Stellar Blade. Here's the difference. Hades has been marketed as a diverse game and is therefore an ally, while Stellar Blade refuses to bend the knee. That's why they'll hate it while loving Hades. No hate. Hades is a great game. They just play ball. Of course, she was also in this with this dude, this Khalif Adams, who is shitting on gamers, saying that it's basically a bastion for conservatism now. That's what Stellar Blade has become. And don't forget that even all the way back in March, she was being critical of people who are celebrating the sexuality in Stellar Blade. But when it comes to the woke media, they want to have it both ways. That's not going to happen. They're going to get called out for their hypocrisy. If you're going to sit there and praise all these other games for how hot and sexy their characters are, get mad that people are celebrating the same thing about Stellar Blade with a traditionally attractive female protagonist, this is why they've become the absolute laughingstock. They've been that way for a long time, but especially with what we've seen happen, the backlash we've seen happen towards games journalists in the whole, if you want to call it Gamergate 2, whatever people want to label it as, this entire thing, they have come out getting wrecked and destroyed and embarrassed because no one has any respect for them anymore, and they continue to prove day after day why that is. They want to praise sexuality in the games that fit what they think it should fit, but when it comes to a game that's pushing back against that other people are loving, they suddenly have a massive problem with over-sexualization. Weird how that works, isn't it? But hey, Kotaku gonna Kotaku.